Welcome to American Black Journal. I'm Stephen Henderson. Last year, the stage production of Married but Single played to sold-out audiences across the country. The sequel, Married but Single 2, is premiering here in Detroit this week. The play examines love and relationships in the African-American community. Today, I am pleased to welcome the play's creator, Jakarius Johnson, along with cast members LisaRaye McCoy, Bill Bellamy, and Chanté Moore. Welcome to American Black Journal.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
All right, so I'm just going to put this out there. Married but single. That sounds like you're trying to start something. Right? You can't be married but single too. Talk about the title there and what that means.
Well, we're trying to start a little bit. We're trying to start the love train going around again. It's really a piece about how the transition from single to being married, because a lot of married people want to be single, a lot of single people want to be married, and we're always examining other people's circumstances and situation, thinking that the grass is greener.
Right.
But so we take a comedic and very entertaining look at single people and married people. So the play is not specifically just about married couples, but we examine singles, we examine marriage. Wherever you are in the relationship totem pole, you will get an exciting ride.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
And at the end, everything works out okay for everybody, or
You gotta come see it now.
Don't be trying to get a sneak peek.
That's right. I haven't even paid for tickets yet. Bill Bellamy, the favorite work of yours that for me is the movie Love Jones,
Yes.
where
Oh, thank you.
where it's also a movie about love and relationships in the African American community. But you were a troublemaker in that film.
I was
Are
actually
you
a very huge troublemaker in Love Jones. People were mad at me about that.
Are you a troublemaker in this play too?
No, in this
What do you mean, no?
well, kind of, sort of, but not as bad, right?
Not
Just
as
a little
bad?
bit. So actually, I'm an antagonist.
Okay,
In a
how is
way.
that different from troublemaker?
That's a nice way to say it. So anyway,
Okay.
in this particular stage play, I played Jackson Kelly, right? Jackson Kelly is a love interest.
As a troublemaker. No.
He's a troublemaker.
I am trying to rekindle a love affair with
Okay.
her and her character, and it just is one of those things that happened when I was married. I was married at the time; she was not married, and we had this tryst, and it was so good, and it just ended kind of abruptly because I was married, so it shut down.
Right.
And now I'm not married, and I want her back. I want her.
Yeah.
She was the best thing that ever happened to me in my life, and I come back into her life at a little awkward time.
And it's that thing where that one person in your life you have that chemistry with.
Yeah.
So whenever he touch you, whenever he call you, whenever you hear his voice, whenever you think about him, it's like you get weak for him, and then you know you can't really be around that kind of person, because when you're married, you want to try to stay married.
Right.
And so it's like so you're constantly the tug and war of realizing that you're married, but are you in love? Are you happy? What am I going to do? Am I going to test the waters a little bit more? Should we do it? Should we not? It's that kind of thing. It's a dance.
Yeah, very cool.
It's about me. There you go.
It was about me.
What about the female roles here? I'm always curious about the female roles in stories like this, and particularly when they're African American stories, how they're told, how they're sort of put together, how they differ from the male roles. Talk about how that works, Chanté.
Well, I can only speak for myself in this role. I think that she's helping by being a hindrance.
Okay.
That's probably the best way I can say this right now.
What kind
That's
of
a little
hindrance?
mysterious.
What kind of hindrance are you?
Well, I'm a bit like Bill in this play.
Okay.
I'm here to stir the pot just a bit. And I think that's a good thing, because usually if we don't have opposition, we don't figure out who we are without trouble.
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit of trouble.
That temptation. maybe.
Yeah, right.
believe
Well,
that
that's an important tension in a story like this,
Yeah.
right? You got to have that.
Absolutely.
Look, you got to have the good with the bad, and everything is for the greater good in the end.
Absolutely.
So,
See, you just gave away the
look,
end right there.
No,
Now I don't have to go
no,
see
not
it.
necessarily. A little,
Oh, you want
so, sometimes faithfulness is great. Sometimes infidelity is not so great, but necessary to restore faithfulness.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So we're going to twist some things.
Yeah.
and
It seems to me like stories like these now, when they involve African American characters, have a lot more breadth. They have a lot more room to sort of go around than they did 10, 15, 20 years ago. That there's more of an acceptance of the idea that you know, that the complexity of these relationships is okay in an African American concept, that it's in a context, that it's okay to tell these kind of stories.
And it's so real, because here's the thing that I realize is that when I look at the relationship between my mom and my dad, she's the kind of woman that stuck there and took all kind of stuff. You know what I mean? And then her mother, you know, got married at 16 and had all these kids, and it's like, and your whole life was just taking care of the kids and the husband, and that was just it. You know, so now you leave that and you have these new millennium women that's like, I'm working and I'm taking care of my husband and I'm taking care of my kids and I'm an entrepreneur. You know, we can do it all, but then you still have the man's mentality sometime that's like, I'm the breadwinner, or I just want you to stay here. And we're like, no, I want to do that, but I want to be able to do this if I can.
Right.
You know, so, you know, right now, while we're having all these, you know, the reality star shows that's depicting us as, you know, different type of women, I believe in TMI. They give TMI. It's like too much information.
Yeah.
And
That's
so now, you know, the realness of what we have to show because of what we're up against in the competition of what the shows are showing now, you got to be able to be transparent. You got to be able to say, this is what I'm dealing with. And I'm sure you've dealt with it. You just don't want to talk about it.
Right, right.
You know what I mean? So we're going to show it to you so that even inside, and then inside your mind, you're like, oh,
you know,
maybe I can deal with it that way.
Right?
And I didn't even think about it that way. And that's what it is. It's just a way to show you how others thought, how others can deal with things, and how you maybe can be able to take a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this from here and say, you know what, I'm going to put all this together and do it differently and try something new.
I think it addresses a couple issues, right? I think women, if women came together with their girls to the play, they're going to be like, girl, blah, 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 blah. Do you know that was you? That was you? You know, and then if you come with your significant other, your wife, your husband, or whatever, it's going to make you appreciate your relationship, because a lot of times when we're in our relationship, we don't really see the value because we work it every day. We're not stepping out and looking back. I think the good thing about this play is that it makes you appreciate, you know, who you are, where you are,
and where you are.
You know, you're like, where are we in our relationship? Because when we're rehearsing, I do the same thing. You know, I think about it, and I'm just like, I was there once before. I know this part right here real well. So
and isn't it sometimes hard, like, not to be yourself sometime in your character? Because sometimes I read something, I go, I wouldn't do this, and I go, oh, yeah, I wouldn't. You know, she is.
That's a role.
Right. I would never do that.
Like this, you know, this line here, you know.
The thing that I think is amazing, the magnet, is love will make you do anything. You know, when you're in love and you really care about somebody, there's no limit to what you can or want to do, right? In my particular case, my love for her was so powerful that I want to. Sharon Carter.
That would be my character.
Sharon Carter.
Right, that's right.
Sharon Carter is one of those kind of love affairs that everybody wants in their life. Like that one time in your life that you met somebody that was your music, like your sound, like you didn't ever think.
Pull your hair from the back.
Everything about them.
This is a public television show.
So they rub your shoulder nicely.
See, that's why we got to be transparent. No.
But like, you know, the yin and the yang. So a lot of times we pray for that favorite song in our life that you know when you hear it you go, oh my God, right? So
That's a great analogy.
I know, let's say he took it there, didn't he?
I like that.
You know,
it's like a great
song is that,
song.
oh my God, in my life. And I think what I want to show people is that, oh my God, is a blessing and a curse sometimes, because you want it. It's like you want to hear another song. You want another day.
Right.
But maybe it may not fit in a time frame or whatever, but we showed that it was real. You know, we showed that it was just one of those connects that's just like, oh my God.
Gotta wait.
Gotta wait.
Talk about the inspiration that you draw on to write these plays.
I got married.
Yeah. So this is autobiographical, then.
Yeah. Well, look, to me, art is a mirror for life and a rehearsal for change. Right. So.
Say that again now. I like that.
That's pretty good, too. Look at all the deep thoughts coming out of this table.
And that's what it is. You know, my job is to create a mirror for people so they see themselves, but rehearse change, which is alternate endings to decisions that you may have made that led you down the wrong path. You know, and under that path is scar tissue. And so I'm like a surgeon trying to repair that scar tissue and bring you back to a place called love again.
That look a little like liposuction.
Look at that.
Get it out of there.
So I imagine that to pull off a play like this on a stage, there has to be a lot of chemistry, and maybe more among the cast than for other for other kinds of stories. Is that true? I mean, I'm somebody who's never acted, so I'm guessing at that. But that the chemistry probably looks a little different in a production like this.
I think it's wonderful. I was talking about that earlier today and how I'm a solo artist, so I don't get to have this kind of interaction professionally so much.
Okay.
So I am enjoying the fact that he's crazy, she's crazy. We all have a bit of crazy. I think anybody in the industry is a little bananas.
Yeah.
But I love that they're professional, they're kind, off and on stage. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what I think is the most beautiful part. And that's where I think the chemistry on stage happens because we actually are caring up for each other and we're, behind each other and we're also having fun off stage.
Sure.
So on stage you get to have that extra piece.
You have to find the funny. You have to be able to be in an environment where you can try different things. And if it doesn't work, right, to feel safe, because if you feel like, oh, I have to just walk this line, then it's kind of like, we can all come and be professional, but, like she said, if we're just blah, we're crazy, and it's like, it's fun, and it's like, boom, ting, and then when you're around a comedian, I try to one up him, you know what I mean? So, because I know he's going to just be here with it. I want to shine too, and be his life,
Yes.
in the play as
Carl
well.
is also in this mix. So
Yeah,
he's bananas.
Yeah. Oh, it's funny.
Well, and the chemistry between your character and her character, that has to be
Oh, it's
intense, right?
It's real.
Right, I was saying, it's really real.
I feel it right now.
Because although you're doing a comedy, there's moments in there where you have to be real and you got to feel it.
Yeah.
And I remember even, the other night when we were rehearsing, I said this line, and before I knew it, I was really tearing up. And it was like, where's that coming from? But I went with it because I wanted to be true to what I was feeling and work with that and see if it worked. You know what I mean? Yeah, and it was an emotion that came up that was like, wow, we really had that. And if I don't really have that over here, it's a yearning that's like, do I get a little taste of this some more to maybe take it over here?
Right.
Would that be wrong to do that? Or do I just study what had happened over here, remember what had happened over here, and bring it over here?
And bring it
You know what I mean?
here,
Or just, so it touched me in a way that I think I'm going to use that in one night.
I think it's my eyes. My eyes did that.
Actually, you weren't even looking at me. You weren't saying nothing, so it was actually just your presence.
It was my ears there. My ears. I was turned to the side. No, I think it was something on my face. My nose, no?
Something has them in a
It was all about me, really. It was my truth.
It was your truth. Your honesty.
All right, so the play starts Tuesday. How long does it run here in Detroit?
Through Sunday.
Okay.
The 19th, February 19th.
All right. Do you find Detroit audiences more receptive to this kind of story? You should. The answer is yes.
Absolutely. Well, not only receptive, but Detroit is great. Like, that's why this is the premiere.
Yeah, right.
And we chose Detroit to premiere because Detroit tells us the truth, Yeah.
They
And,
talk back to it.
Hey, well, I was going to say,
They into the story. They
dialogue.
tell us, go ahead, you look good, girl. Celebrate.
That's right.
Make you want to break the
I
fourth
was
wall.
going to say, you can't get away with it too much with the audience here.
So, yeah, we love Detroit.
And it helps us as a performer, when they let us know what they're liking, the applause and the clap and the talk back, that makes us feel a little bigger, and it feeds our ego because, we're
Performance.
performers.
And they like to know.
all
They
that.
like to know they're doing something right, and Detroit lets you know. And if you're doing something wrong,
we'll
they're
let
good.
you know
We
that too.
let us know that
We
too.
will
Oh,
let
it's
you
so
know
funny
that
because
too.
you know what? One time I said this line wrong last year, and I heard myself after it came out, but I just let it roll, right? And then somebody said, "No, that don't sound right."
That's right. They will tell
I
you,
was like,
right?
"Oh," and I came on stage thinking, "Who was that?"
That's right. All right. Well, congratulations and welcome to Detroit.
Thank you.